So Kevin Bacon wants to play the next Freddy Krueger. Okay. Okay, so before I give you my thoughts on this news, let's do a little bit of a history lesson for those of you that aren't familiar with the Freddy Krueger character or the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. The original Nightmare film was released in 1984 and was directed by one of my personal favorite horror directors of all time, the man, Wes Craven. The film had a budget of $1.8 million and made $25 million worldwide. So needless to say, it was a critical hit for 1984. Now everyone knows what that means, sequel. So in 1985, they immediately went into production for A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, Freddy's Revenge. To me, this is where the franchise started to get into trouble. I mean, they lost Wes Craven due to bad blood between him and the series producer, Robert Shea. And they also went in a strange direction for a slasher movie franchise by casting a male lead, which almost never happens. The film is divisive, to say the least, and maybe one day I'll do a full-fledged review of Part 2, but for now, let's go on to Part 3. This is the last one I'm going to talk about in this much detail. Released in 1987 was A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, Dream Warriors. Dream Warriors was a return to form. Well, kinda. Wes Craven returned to write the script and the screenplay. A lot of people love this film and go as far as saying it's their favorite in the franchise. But something was always missing to me: Wes Craven's direction. And it shows, because most of the bad reviews for this film point towards Chuck Russell's subpar direction. After Part 3, they released 3 more direct sequels. Part 4, The Dream Master, Part 5, The Dream Child, and Part 6, Freddy's Dead. I'll say that Part 4 and Part 5 have their moments, but Part 6? Well, we don't talk about Part 6. Actually, the best thing about Part 6 is that it led to the self-aware, quasi-sequel Wes Craven's New Nightmare, which finally had Craven pen and return to the director's chair. I'll admit it, New Nightmare is probably my favorite in the franchise. After that, we got Freddy vs. Jason and the remake. Okay, y'all filled in now? What was the one thing that didn't change over the years of numerous sequels? Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger. From day one, Englund owned the character. Back in 1984, Freddy was something new to the slasher genre, giving us a villain that actually spoke. Now, you can say that we have Doug Bradley with Pinhead, but that wasn't until 1987. And that's a completely different story. So let's get back to Freddy. With Part 2, Freddy's Revenge, they actually tried to replace Robert Englund with a stunt actor. But shortly into filming, they realized that they made a huge mistake and brought Robert Englund back into the fold. I actually didn't know that until I watched the documentary Never Sleep Again. It dives into the series' creation, detailed talks on every installment of the franchise. It's awesome, guys. Check it out on Netflix. But I digress. Robert Englund took a character that, if put into the wrong hands, could have fallen into obscurity, never to be seen again. But fortunately, that didn't happen, and Freddy went on to be cemented into horror as a legend. Now, how does one cast a new Freddy? To me, it's like casting a new Batman. You have to bring in someone that can remind the fans of their favorite incarnation, but yet bring in something refreshing and new at the same time. In a way, I think they did that in the 2010 remake of A Nightmare on Elm Street with Jackie Earle Haley, but what I said didn't happen with Robert Englund's version of the character, unfortunately happened for Jackie Earle Haley's version of the character. Think about it. Do you know anyone that talks about the remake positively? So where do I stand on Kevin Bacon throwing his name in the hat of possible actors to play Freddy? I'm actually not opposed to it. Kevin Bacon has always been an actor that's been on my radar. Back in the day when I was a kid, 2 movies that I used to watch all the time were Tremors and Friday the 13th. 2 awesome horror movies starring Kevin Bacon. And the list goes on from there, with films like Flatliners, Stir of Echoes, and Hollow Man. Speaking of Hollow Man, that's the movie that kind of had me thinking he might actually be able to pull it off. I think that come on, I don't know where Arnold came from. I think that the director of Hollow Man brought out a darkness in Kevin Bacon that no one knew was there. If you haven't seen Hollow Man, I definitely suggest it. Shit gets creepy. So, do I like the idea of him possibly playing Freddy? Yes. It's not even official yet, and people are already hating on it. Welcome to the internet. Alright guys, I guess that's it on my thoughts of Kevin Bacon wanting to possibly play Freddy at some point, maybe, hopefully, but I don't know, it may never happen. I know this isn't the video that I said that I was going to do next, and I am, trust me, going to be doing the From the Shelf review of I Know What You Did Last Summer, but this is just something that I wanted to talk about and get off my chest. That video will be the next video that I put up. I will be continuing with the Resident Evil retrospective, like I said, with Resident Evil Extinction. I hope you like this video. What do you think of these ideas of Kevin Bacon as Freddy Krueger? Let me know down in the comments down below. If you'd like this video, give it a like, give me a share. Like I said, comment. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Check out my Facebook group, Bluetooth Videos. There's a whole bunch of awesome guys on there posting up really good content all the time. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram because you know I have them. But most importantly, guys, it's been Zack versus the Blu-ray Mountain. Stay metal, my friends.